It's here. The moment we've all been waiting for. Let's go. What up, though, family? We are back with another college football 26 video. You already know, talking about this Dynasty deep dive. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to cover the blog and let you know everything you need to know. And look, we ain't got no time to waste because this is going to be somewhat of a long video, man. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we know that always happens when you create your dynasty is you got to do what, man? Either you're going to select a coach, build one. So what we talking about right now is building your coach. Now, when we talk about building your coach, we already know that when it comes to college football and just coaches in general, no coach is perfect. No coach can cover every single thing, but they do have certain specialties, and they're great at certain things that they do. And for what they're not good at, they hire somebody. Well, you know what I'm saying? Dynasty got that same type of feel, where you'll be able to improve yourself on one thing, but you'll be bad in others, and that's where you lean on your staff to go ahead and square you up, like, you know what I'm saying, because you're going to need that. Now, if you choose to build your own coach, man, they added a ton of things to make sure that that coach is unique to you. They even added demeanor. Like, either you can be cool, calm, and collect, you know what I'm saying, like cooler than the icicle in the freezer, or you can be hot-headed, pumped up, you know what I'm saying, high energy, however you want to be. But either way, either one of those demeanors and that however you want to be seen is definitely an option, and you can pick whichever one you like. Now, after we done got our coach freshly dressed and ready to impress, you know what I'm saying, now we got to go over coach progression. And so, you know, in 25, it was a little easy to a certain degree to get your coach where he needed to be and be prestigious and max out and get whatever you needed from the recruiting trail. Well, they definitely changed that. So we know that before you maxed out at 50, well, right now you max out at 100. And XP is hard to come by. And look, even if you have great seasons, like, that's cool, but they ain't gonna give you a ton of XP like they did in 25. At 26, you still gonna earn it, and it's gonna be given and divvied out through a duration. So you may have early success, and you'll see that difference with some of your XP, but you're not gonna get it like you did before. And you gotta have just consistency as a coach over your whole coaching career. So it's just not for a few seasons. They want you to be consistent throughout maybe a 10, 20-year stretch, like, you know what I'm saying? And from there, that's how you'll build your coach to be able to max out with that XP. Boy, we gonna be on a grind. So you already know I got my handy dandy note sheet, so you know I gotta pull that out because it was a lot of info. So when we're dealing with certain coach archetypes, the first things I looked at and they talked about was tactician. Now, the tactician archetype is one of them high risk, high reward. And the reason why I say that is because the XP ceiling is the highest out of all of them. But that's only if you're having great seasons, you consistently winning. If you stinking it up, it's the worst one too, because it'll kill you as far as you trying to develop. It'll hurt you. So being a tactician, it has its perks, but you better be locked in and dialed in, because if not, you're not going to progress like you want to. And the reason why I say that is because when you got motivator and then the recruiter, they don't have as much XP, but they don't have a bigger downside either. So they'll stay consistent, and you'll still be able to build your coach. But if you want to hit that trail and you want to be a little ahead of everybody else or ahead of schedule, first off, you better be able to ball on that field. And number two, that's how you're going to get there, as with tactician as your archetype. Your XP will be determined by your archetype tier type. So what that means is your elite recruiter, master motivators, and scheme gurus, they get offered double XP because of what they are. Now, if you got your hybrid archetypes, then, you know what I'm saying, they're going to get more XP than the other. So all these things build up together. Now, if you're talking about, what is it called, your CEO or your program builder, your XP boost is extremely higher than either one of those, but you got to get there. But once you get there, your XP boost is insane, because, like, basically you just top dog, and so they're gonna make sure that you get rewarded properly, or what we say, compensated. You know what I'm saying? Now, still talking about archetypes, this is kind of crazy. So before, in 25, you would off the jump have to pick between the three. Well, this one's a little different in 26. So what's going to happen is you're going to start, but you're not going to pick an archetype until you unlock that level to pick an archetype. And then you'll have to choose from the three. And listen, choose wisely, boy, because you're really choosing your own adventure at this point. But whichever one you pick, that's going to be key, because you're going to build that way. And the reason why I say build that way is because which one you pick, certain abilities will be easier for you to obtain compared to if you start trying to venture off into another archetype's lane. So case in point, if I go off of let me see, I'm looking at one right now. If I go off the motivator, right? And that's the one I go with. So everything dealing with the motivator is going to be cheaper for me to purchase or upgrade as long as it's dealing with motivator. But now if I switch over and try to go to recruiter is going to cost significantly more because that's not my specialty. So since it's not my specialty, it's like I'm learning a new skill set. So since I'm learning a new skill set, it's going to cost more for me to go ahead and get that and achieve that. Now you can get over this and you can get by this, but you need to be, within your CEO or program builder to get over that. And that's going to take time to get there. But that's exactly what they got going on is if you are building within your specialty, it'll cost less. But if you venture out and because you're trying to make your coach well-rounded, then it's going to cost you a lot more than what it would with your specialty. Also, with that being said, that's what's going to make your staff key, because wherever you fall short, especially being new being new coaches, you're going to fall short. So you're going to need your staff to pick up. So your DC and your OC is going to be extremely important to either boost what you're trying to do or pick up where the areas that you're not going to be good in. Either way, it's more detrimental to get your staff the way you need them to be now than it was in 2025. So, hey man, choose wisely. And we also got to deal with coaching carousel. So man, oh man, it's different now. Joker's really going to be going after your team. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, oh yeah, I like the way that OC rock. And they're going to try to snatch him away. Crazy enough, depending on what school you go with, they may leave to go with a different school that gives them a bigger opportunity too. So it's going to be kind of crazy, man, but that's how they did it. And so they added 3 new program builder abilities that give you more control over the hiring and retention process. So you got Forever Home, which is your coordinators are less likely to leave for another job, which that's the one you're going to need. Then they got Deal Sweetener, which coordinators are more likely to accept your job offer. Depending on if you fire somebody, you want to get somebody else in there that you feel like is better. And then we also got Cream of the Crop, which increases the caliber of coordinators available for you to hire. Meaning, if you're looking for somebody and you got that cream of the crop attribute, you'll be able to go ahead and filter through and get the best of the best to get to come be a part of your staff, which is very nice. Now, you got to also realize staff is going to be moving around. So all these things are going to be key. And I'm telling you, the reason why I keep saying this key thing is because it keeps building upon itself. Everything that you do as a coach is going to be down to the players, down to everything else, as I'm going to get to further in this video. But everything complements itself. So just remember that. They also have this thing called the staff move screen. So this is another window for you. And when you go in there to hire people, you can also see where they previously worked and whether they were fired or why they quit. So you kind of can get a feel for who you hiring and why. Because if they got fired, then maybe they weren't as good as they needed to be, or something was wrong with their attributes or whatever it was. Or maybe they just bounced. Maybe they just left. And you're like, all right, bro, you ain't got no loyalty, so I don't think I want you on my staff either. Either way, you need to pay attention to who you hiring. They finally listened to the community and brought the trophy room back. Well, it was the trophy case before, but now they brought the trophy room back. Now, what makes this unique is, first and foremost, you're going to have a global one, which is for all modes all across the board, which, okay, I got it. That's cool. That's everything we've ever done in the game and everything we've won, which just makes sense if you're playing college football, playoff, stuff like that. But for Dynasty, which we really care about because that's why we're here, every Dynasty you're in will have a different trophy case, a different trophy room. So you'll have one for this season that you're on, and then when you're with your other homies playing something else, you have a different one. So they won't get confused, but it will track everything that you've done, which we already know. We love to go into the trophy case and look at all the things we won, screenshot them, talk crap to people, because that's basically what's going to happen. Like, boy, look at my trophy case compared to yours. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, dope look. Now we got to talk about the transfer portal. Now listen, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. The college football devs is out doing themselves, man. Look, so talking about the portal, as we know, the portal is forever jumping, so to speak. So what they did was they made sure that now in this year, in 26, it's always going to be a consistency of up to 2,000 players within that portal. Man, oh man. And now with the star system that they have, it's going to be a little different. Case in point, it's going to be driven by what class year you're in, as well as your overall and your position. What do I mean by that? Okay, cool. Old man gonna tell you. So basically, let's say you got a quarterback that's an 85 overall, and he's a freshman. And then you have offensive guard, who is an 85 overall, and a senior, right? So cool, that offensive guard may be a 2-star compared to that quarterback may be a 4-star, because for one, it's a quarterback. We already know how valuable quarterbacks are. Not saying that linemen aren't valuable, but just saying by position, quarterbacks are very detrimental to your success. You know what I'm saying? So that's just period, point blank. Number two, that quarterback is a freshman, which means if I get them to transfer to my team, they still have eligible years to play. You see what I'm saying? But if I just get that senior is only going to be one and done. So that's why they kind of did the star system that way. So just know, when you look at that star system, it's not necessarily who's the better player. It's more about what position they have and the longevity they can have for your team. Now let's take a look at deal breakers, because now you know we starting to get toward that recruiting field. Man, oh man. Since we talked about transfer portal, let's go to deal breakers. Crazy enough, if a person has a deal breaker, we already seen that from 25. But this is OP. This is to another level. So let's just say your playing time's your deal breaker, right? Well, if that's the case, then you're gonna have to be able to work them in, because if not, that's gonna be the main reason why they transfer up out of there. Now, what I mean by work them in is there's something I'm gonna talk about later on, or how you can get snaps for your players. But it's gonna be key to get those guys who playing time is important on the field, man. Period, point blank. Just gonna have to do it. Now, crazy enough, when we talk about player time on the field, that also means this: if a player is not getting on the field as much as they want, that's going to be an issue. And if they get on the field and they start cooking and doing real well, and you don't give them more time on the field, that's going to be an issue. So their deal breaker don't only just stay at that one grade anymore. As they progress and get better and better, that deal breaker goes up higher and higher. And the crazy thing about that is, let's just say you are at Ball State and you got a dope wide receiver that's going crazy down there. Well, now let's just say his playing time is at an A+, and only thing not playing time, but let's just say one of his deal breakers is at an A+, but the highest your school goes is a B. Well, what's going to happen is he's going to have that syndrome of a big fish in a little pond. And so what ends up happening is he'll hit the portal to get a better opportunity to go somewhere else. Even though you've done nothing wrong, done nothing but right by him, he will still bounce on you just like they do in real life. Man, you can't tell me that ain't crazy. Also, talking about that, listen, you know how we love to stockpile. I know y'all did it, because I used to try to do it when we were recruiting. Try to stockpile talent on top of talent on top of talent. Well, this one, nah, bro. You're not finna do that at all. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you go get, let's just say, the #1 wide receiver in the nation, the 5-star freshman coming in, and dog got the attributes, he dope. Well, your actual starting wide receiver, who maybe be a sophomore, sees that you just went and got this freshman, and so he's worried about his spot and that he may lose it to this freshman, this highly touted freshman. So what happens? You do what people do in real life. That means that you have to be very careful with who you're recruiting in, because that starter will jump in the portal on you, man. Like, listen, man, that's crazy work. So just know, when you're sitting over here trying to get talent, know for a fact that if you get somebody that's too good, you may lose the person that you got that's playing good too. So you got to be well aware of all of that as a coach, man. You're going to have to stagger it, do whatever it takes to try to build your roster. But the days of just stacking everybody and getting all 99 overalls on your team, those days are gone. Also, too, you got to worry about red shirting, man. Oh, man, because now you got a red shirt at your own risk. Because if you done promise somebody they can play and then you red shirt them, they may not wait that whole red shirt. They might get up out of there like, oh, no, bro, you told me you was going to play, and now I can't play, I'm gone. And so it don't matter. I know you doing a red shirt and try to make them better and let them sit because of who they got in front of them, but that's not what they wanted to do. So, man, we got a lot to do as coaches and be aware of, because Joker's going to be jumping in that portal. It's the reason why they told us they added it to where now it's going to be up to 2,000 people hopping in that portal. And them people going to come off our rosters if we don't keep them happy. Now, you already heard me talk about it, but let's just go ahead and deep dive into it more about evolving expectations, because I told you about the big fish in a little pond theory. That's for real. That's really what they're going to be on. So here we go. Now, like I said, as you can see on the screen right now, you can see Decorian Moore, right? Initially, he needs a playing time of what? B. But that's as a freshman. But as he starts to get better, as a sophomore, it jumped to an A+. So that's exactly what I was talking about. their expectations are going to change as they perform on the field, and you got to adjust to that for sure. So how you build your staff is going to be significant to the impact and the ability to manage your roster, because as long as you have the right staff, you'll be able to keep certain players and they'll be able to influence certain players to stay. But if you don't have those guys in place, man, you're going to lose a lot of people. And what do I mean by right archetypes and who? Well, here, I'm glad you asked. So let's talk about it. If you have an archetype of a strategist as one of your staff members, then you'll be able to purchase this thing called lower the bar ability. So lower the bar means, hey man, calm down, which means this: even if their expectations goes up, it'll still drop back down. You can lower it just about a whole grade to keep individuals there within your program. So that may be something you want to look at. There's so many different archetypes, man, but listen, all of them do something different and something special. And depending on how you try to build your program or run your program, you got to pay attention to all of this, boy. We really getting what we really wanted, real football. You can also purchase the family atmosphere ability, and this will be for your master motivators. You see what I'm saying? So again, in a different archetype, they have a different way of trying to keep people there. So every archetype is special and they have their own little thing. And so if a player decides to leave, you will have the ability as a program builder to do 3 things to try to keep them to stay. You'll have the gift of gab, which is additional persuasion attempts. You'll have roster retainer, which increases the chance of persuading a player to stay. And you'll have full refund, which is getting an additional persuasion attempt if the attempts that you use were successful. So either way, you still have a way to try to keep players, and they're saying this for a reason, which means Jokers is really going to be trying to leave. And so we're going to have to do whatever it takes to keep these guys there. And granted, some of these things can be with sliders and change. Your commissioner can change how frequent people leave and even the number of how many people leave per user team, not from the computer, but the user teams. But why change that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's all go through this heartache together and build a correct roster. Because if you do this, we'll stop the super teams. You know what I'm saying? We'll get the real football experience that we all say we want. They also switched up my school. And man, what I mean by that is this. I know we seen all them tabs and all those grades before and was like, okay, cool, let me improve this, let me improve that, and I'll be straight. Because it really never fluctuated like it should to make you even care about it. Well, not no more. Those grades are very, very important. And what do I mean by very, very important? So case in point, when you're using these things and like let's say you got your core wide receivers, right? If I'm consistently sending wide receivers to the league and getting them and to get drafted, then that grade of pro potential is going to be pretty high. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, cool. And not only pretty high, but it's also going to track what positions I'm getting to the league, right? So that means this: if I'm getting a lot of wide receivers, then I'm going to be able to recruit a lot of wide receivers. Hence the thing of wide receiver you'll actually be able to have that in your repertoire, so to speak, because now you're showing that you consistently getting wide receivers to the league, so that might draw in a lot of talent. That's wide receivers. So at the end of the day, if you specialize in that, it'll be very easy for you to recruit those individuals that play that position. Man, you can't tell me that ain't dope. And they made another great change with location-based recruiting. I think that's base recruiting. Am I saying that right? Yeah, location-based recruiting. And what do I mean by that? Simple. If, case in point, let's say we're in the state of Michigan, because that's what I love. You know what I'm saying? So we're in Michigan, and we got, let's say, like Bryce Underwood in Michigan, right? And so it's nothing for him to get to the University of Michigan because he lives in Michigan. So before on 25, no matter where the player stayed at, you would end up spending 40 minutes trying to get them to do schedule a visit, right? Well, now if they're in state, it's only going to cost 10. So if they're close to you, it's only going to cost 10 minutes to schedule a visit compared to if that certain player is in, let's say, California trying to get to Michigan, where that's going to cost 40. Like, you know what I'm saying? Also, if you have the CEO archetype, I'm going to keep saying these archetypes because they keep meaning something. So if you have the CEO archetype, you can schedule double the number that you usually can schedule to have people to come visit. Now, if you played 25 for a while, you was in Dynasty, you can only get 4 people to visit at once. Well, now with that CEO archetype, you can double that and have 8. Also, with that 8, if you have someone on your staff, or you possibly have the strategist and you're a strategist, then gives you a significant boost when you win those games. So now your XP goes through the roof on top of the fact that you have 8 people there at that time. So that increasingly improves your chances of gaining those recruits and getting those recruits in to be a part of your team. All this is crazy, man. But again, like I keep telling you, you're going to keep hearing me use the word archetypes because it keeps building upon each other. And where will we be without talking about recruiting battles? Now, if you play 25 like I did in Dynasty, you both could be up the top and both of the commitment bars could be full, and you trying to figure out who he gonna pick, who he not gonna pick. You don't know. Then all of a sudden, boom, dog don't pick you. He picks the other team, and you just take him off your board. You don't know why. You don't know how you fell short. Well, that's changing. So now, if 2 teams meet the commitment threshold, then what happens is you go into a recruiting battle with that other school. And so what that means is now the threshold is going to extend a little further, and it's going to be between you and that school to try to win him over. And literally, it's a race to get to the threshold. So whoever gets there first will win that recruit. And you'll know definitively that I won him because I got there first. There will be no confusion. I'm just letting you know that's what they got going on right now for recruiting battles. Also with recruit generation, man, oh man, they boosted that up. Definitely. Now, every single year when it comes to recruiting, you're going to have 4,100 recruits to go through. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a crazy number, but that's what you're going to have. And there's going to be certain gaps between certain players, and you're not going to have an abundance of great talented players because those only come once in a lifetime, right? So you're going to have a small number of elite players, and then the rest are going to be just good players and position players and people you can build up to be great. And then you're going to have your everybody past that. You see what I'm saying? But I know we were used to always being able to find great talent every single time, this, that, and third. Well, nah, it's not going to be like that now. It's really going to be tough to comb through 4,100 people to find the most elite players of that recruiting year. It's not necessarily mean that the following year is going to be similar, because the following year could have more people that are better than in what it was the previous year. So it's really just luck of the draw, just like in real life. You don't know who's coming to the table or who's going to be worth anything, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just going to be really unpredictable. But that's what we got, and I like that a lot. That's a dope touch because that makes it more realistic. They've also reduced the weight of most of your high school players, right? So once we come in, like, you're going to be able to know the difference between a freshman compared to your senior. It's going to visually look different and everything. So like, all of your high school players are going to be a little bit thinner than what they will be once they get into college and have a few years under, you know, strength and conditioning with the right nutrition in their body, like, you know what I'm saying, and develop them out. So most of your guys are going to come in a little bit slimmer, and you will see it. If you start a freshman, you're going to definitely see that freshman is going to look totally different than than all of your juniors and seniors and sophomores that's out there. So you have been warned. Now let's talk about swaying recruits, man, trying to sway them your way, like, you know what I'm saying? So basically, there will be a sway option, and within that sway option, you will get another menu that states, hey, this is the likelihood that they're going to fall for this, and this is the likelihood that they're not. As you can see on the screen, this is going to show you what you will fall for and what you won't. Now, if you successfully get them to sway, then you will see more than just the 3 green check boxes that we're used to seeing. You can actually unlock a different pitch that can help you get that recruit, which I think is dope, because just the one way kind of sucked if you weren't strong in some of those points that they felt were deal breakers. So now you're able to sway and unlock a different pitch to where now they can have multiple green checks on the right, like you see. So man, oh man, I think that was a great look, because that was definitely needed, just to give it a different way of trying to, as it says, sway players to come to your school. They also did some quality of life changes with the recruiting, and so you can see your team needs, man. Oh my God. If y'all like me, I got so sick of switching through 300 different menus trying to see what I needed, what I didn't need, who was here, who was there. Can I compare this guy? What about this guy? I got so sick of that. So now what they did was they put the team needs right there at the top, so we good to go. We ain't got to see it. Like, you know, we ain't got to go searching for it. So that's a lot easier. Also, they put to where now you'll see like little green marks on your recruits. At the bottom left, it'll state like, hey, you're in there, you in this guy's top 5, you in this guy's top 5. It'll also show green arrows, and red arrows. Now you don't have to go into the recruiting into the recruiting menu, the scouting menu, to see it. It'll actually be underneath their name to let you know if you went up on their board or you're going down on their board, so you can address that immediately. And then also it has little red circles that'll be in the upper left corner. Those red circles mean that that recruit has cut off their recruit and does now only have the top 5. And that red circle means that you made that top 5. So you know who's closer to committing and who you need to pay attention to compared to those who are off. All these things are dope because hey, listen, man, recruiting on top of all this stuff I've been talking about so far, hey, man, we got a lot to do. Listen, playing the game is the easy part. The hard part is everything else. I can promise you that. You can also add recruits to your favorite list. So if you hit triangle on PlayStation or Y on Xbox, go ahead and double tap that real quick. Then they'll be a part of your favorites. So then they'll pop up immediately. So whichever recruits that you feel like you won't be able to make it without, you can go ahead and favorite them so that you can pay close attention to them compared to everybody else. All right, so now we got to get into player progression, man. And with this is just a different overhaul. I already told you earlier that you're going to be able to physically see the difference between freshmen and seniors, right? Well, this also depends on your athletic facilities grade that you'll have in your my school. See how everything's tying together, right? So with that grade, if that grade's not high, then that messes with the development of your players as far as their physique and how they're going to look. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a high grade there, then they'll be able to reach their max potential as far as their body mass and their weight and their athleticism. You see what I'm saying? That ties into it. So again, everything now means something. Things are not just there to be there. And with your physical attributes in 25, you only need to get maybe one of the attributes to a certain level, and then one of the traits would be able to be upgraded, right? And that's what we were used to. Well, not so much. And what I mean by that now is certain abilities will take 2 attributes to now boost them instead of just the 1. So you're gonna have to have a good grade in 2 ratings in 2 different attributes for it to be able to boost that ability, right? Just let you know that. So all of them are not the same, but it's not every single one, it's just certain ones. And the reason why they did it is because they want you to definitively be able to see the separation between an elite player and just a good player, like, you know what I'm saying? So they want to make sure that we can be able to tell the difference on the field as soon as they step on the field. And I feel like we're doing that. We definitely gonna know who's elite and who's not. And they are finally recognizing players like we've been dying to do. And what I mean by that is like from impact to a star. What do I mean? Meaning this: when we use a player, and let's say this player balls out in the season and goes for like maybe let's say 1,000 and some passing yards, or maybe 1,500 to 2,000 rushing yards, that player can see a developmental trait upgrade. So let's say if they were normal, they can upgrade to star. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say star. No, excuse me. They'll go from normal to impact. And if they are a star, they can go from star to elite. Now the difference is this: it's a lot easier for your player to go from normal to impact than it's going to be to go from star to elite. That jump is going to be extremely difficult, but the normal to impact is going to be a lot easier. So if you already have a star player, they're going to have to really grind for them to be able to even get to that elite tier, and it's going to have to be consistent. So don't think just because you had one good season that they're going to boost up and be there. It's not going to happen. So I'm just letting you know that now. But you do have a better chance of going from normal to impact if you have a breakout year. And you can improve the chances of your players upgrading if you have this thing called gains getter, and you have to be at a certain, here we go again, archetype, which is the CEO archetype. If you have the CEO archetype and you have that gains getter, it significantly increases the chance of your players boosting and being upgraded within their developmental trait than you not having it. So that's that. Also, if a player does upgrade, you will get a notification and it will be highlighted within the training results window. So you'll be able to see everybody that actually boosted within their developmental trait. You also have the option to do manual progressions. So what that means is the individual that is in charge of that team, that coach, that user, can have those points saved up and individually go in there and boost up what they want on their players. Now, if you're playing Dynasty, it sounds like that'd be cool. You got a lot of players do that too, for one. And then for two, it may let me see, water down the experience, for a better word. So most Dynasty commissioners probably be like, nah, bro, you just gonna upgrade like everybody else, because the manual progression, it just seems like it'd be irritating. So you can definitely cut it off. Now, with the manual progression, that means this: if said user A wants to do it, it doesn't affect user B, C, and D that's in the Dynasty, because they can do theirs the regular way with the game doing it. Just user A wants to manually go in there and do them on their own. So some commissioners may let it ride. It just depends. But at the end of the day, if you want to just even the playing field to have it the same all the way around, you can do it. Because if you let people manually do it, you may run the risk of them just player boosting and only doing it for certain players and trying to get players to be better. And then you got them only throwing in one player, trying to boost them up so they can do this, that, and the third. So just to kill all that, you might want to just make it an even across the board. So now we got to go over the biggest topic of discussion, you know what I'm saying, for a lot of Dynasty players. It's position changes. So now when you do a position change, compared to how it used to be, it was real easy to do a position change in there, and then they would still have their great overalls and all this other stuff. Well, not so much. In 26, if you do a position change, and let's say you have all these attributes, well, depending on the position you change to, you're going to lose them. So, not attributes, excuse me, these abilities. So if you have a lot of abilities, you're going to lose some of these abilities because of the position you're changing to, because you have to learn a new skill set. And so if that specific ability doesn't translate over to the position you're going to, then you're going to lose it, period, point blank. And what do I mean by that? So if a linebacker transitions to a free safety, as you can see where some of his attributes are there, but he lost a few. But if that same linebacker transitions to a defensive tackle, as you can see, he lost all his attributes but one. So with that being said, that's telling you that there's a steep learning curve that's going to have to happen when you're doing these position changes. And so when you do it, be very, very wary and aware of what you're doing, because you may kill that player and what they could potentially be just to put them in a different position that you think you may need to fill. Just letting you know. Now we got to talk about the big thing of the day. It's managing wear and tear, man. And what I mean by that, they changed this whole system out to a certain degree. So now you not only just have wear and tear there for the season, it's season and career. So that means this: your player, you got to manage throughout the wear and tear, and it's going to boost back up. And as it boosts and go down, depending on how they play and how they recover, that's going to happen throughout the season. But as they're going up and down, they're going back up and receiving that boost from their career wear and tear. So that's depleting slowly as well too. So you not only have to manage the season, but you need to manage their career so that you're not overhauling them and giving them too many carries, too many touches, or whatever it could be, to where you destroy them toward their junior, senior year, to where they won't be as effective as you need them. That's crazy work. And so now you got to worry about that. They also have it to where you only get that boost back on the off season. So your wear and tear literally improves and goes back to where it needs to be on the off season. But there's a but to that. And what do I mean by a but to that? Okay, simple as this. If, let's say, I've managed my team very well, and at the end of the season, you're down to maybe 40% wear and tear. So then now when you boost back up during that off season, you're going to boost up to right around maybe 90. You'll never go all the way back up to 100, but you'll be right around like 90%, maybe 95, right? But if I drained you all the way down to 0 to where your wear and tear is non-existent, then during the off season, you're going to boost back up to maybe 80. And so you're going to start the next season only at 80, compared to those, if you manage wear and tear effectively, then they'll start off at 90, 95. So all these things we got to be aware of, man, because we got to pay attention to it. And so it ain't just going to be willy-nilly run somebody into the ground anymore, or just keep spamming one player. You're really going to have to spread that ball around to make sure that every single person is not being used too much to where you could damage them in the future. Now, to help us, because we probably will mess this all the way up in the beginning, they got this auto sub setting that's going to help us out, right? And so with this setting, this little system, we can actually put certain things in place. So what do I mean by that? Let me read it off to you so you can understand, because there's 4 different sub strategies, and you can use these strategies to try to get them going. So number 1, you can keep fresh, which is prioritizing rotating players out early to limit accumulated wear and tear damage. Basically just continuously keep rotating players out, just like Michigan does, so that they can stay fresh, right? Then you got normal. Normal is balanced approach that will keep a steady rotation. So, you know what I'm saying? It just means just like how normally they do it. And then you have grinded out. And what is grinded out? Players will stay on the field even when they've incurred significant wear and tear damage. That means get Buddy out of there, but you're not, because I guess you think you need him. So you're really hurting that player more than helping him. And then custom, you can create your own custom sub in and out strategy using the slider. So depending on how you want to do it, if you pick custom, sliders will appear and you'll be able to gauge it by every single position, how often or frequently you want to sub people out. So that's how that's going to go. Now, they did say a little bit about historical stats and all the previous years and all this other. I mean, that's cool. I don't really care about it. Hey, man, I'm on the game. I could care less what happened in 1962 with someone running back. I mean, it's on there. So if you want to look at that, that's cool. You got the history, man. But past that, it is what it is. Hey, man, I'm here to play the game, bro. So that's just how I am. But moving forward, we got the tie goes to the runner. Now, what does this mean? So when you're in your conference, right? And let's just say you have a conference and everybody's balling out. We never understood how if I'm 7-1, you're 7-1, and he's 7-1, how did he go, but I beat him, but then I lost to you, but then you beat him, but then when he beat you, how did he get to go forward and I didn't into the conference championship or further into the playoffs, right? So what they did now was they showed us and explained to us how that goes, so that now you know how a person is being picked ahead of you. And I'm gonna break it down and I'm gonna put it on the screen so you can see what I'm saying, right? So first things first, we're gonna be saying using teams A, B, and C for this example. And they're all in the same conference and they all have a 7-1 record. So first, we look at the head-to-head record between the tied teams. As you can see, Team A beat Team B. Then you can see, but B beat Team C. And then you can see that Team C beat A. So all of them are 1-1. So clearly that makes them have no separation. So now you got to go to the next one, right? So the next one is, if the teams didn't all play each other in a head-to-head and it doesn't resolve the tie, we check the team's record against common conference opponents. But as you can see, all of them beat all the conference opponents, so they're all undefeated. Okay, cool. So then it goes to the third one, and the third one is the third and final tiebreaker. And so what do they use? If there's still a tie, we would use the college football ranking to determine the placement. And as you can see, Team A has a higher ranking than Team B and C, so they will end up being the conference champions. So just so you know how that goes, you can see for yourself, that's how they're breaking it down. And that's why I put it up there, so you can see that they wrote it that way. So if you're in a tie, just know if you didn't beat them one by one and or whatever, however that goes, then they're going to be ahead of you. Or if y'all in the tie and you know you beat that team, as long as you have a higher college football ranking, then guess what? You'll be the conference champion or go to the conference championship, however that may go for the conference that you're in. And new positions, they finally upgraded from defensive end, middle linebacker, left outside linebacker, right outside linebacker. They finally started to name it the Mike, the Will, the Sam. We got the edge rushers. Like, they named it what it's supposed to be named. It took them only forever, but they finally did it. So that's a good thing, because now it reflects the actual positions that are developed in some of these schemes. And so that's what we got. And they also, because of that, believe it or not, hear me out when I say this, there are now 59 archetypes to represent different players in today's game, and 59 archetypes that's going to represent them in college football 26. And so we're going to go over just the wide receivers, because you know everybody loves wide receivers. So within the wide receivers alone, they have 7 different archetypes. And what are they? You got speedster, route artist, physical route runner, elusive route runner, gritty possession, gadget receiver, and contested specialist. Now listen, that alone is crazy, because you think about recruiting, that's 7 different styles of a player that you have that you got to try to filter through and see which one is more to your play style and your scheme. I think that is crazy. And just know that their physical attributes are going to be different. They're not going to be the same, which literally supports what their actual archetype is. Man, listen, they outdid themselves with this, man. We got some serious homework to do before we get to trying to recruit people. And one of the things I've been asking for, me personally, because you know I am a football guy, man, is formation subs. And no, not going in every single formation and switching them out and then doing this and then switching them back out like you gotta do every single game, every single time, which was so irritating. No, they got an actual menu for formation subs where you can go and individually put people in and take people out where you want them to be, depending on what it is, for every single formation. I think that is amazing for a multitude of reasons. Reason number one is because that's going to force you to dive deep into your playbook, at least those that choose to, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all weirdos, y'all ain't going to do it. But for those who aren't weird and like to try to dive into their playbook, they're definitely going to utilize that. So now you'll be able to also get the snap count up for those guys, those archetypes that are about playing, those players that want playing time. You can be able to put them in and get them touches on the ball and get them snaps on there so that you can keep them happy as well. All these things tying together, like I've been telling you, everything ties in together. Nothing is there for no reason. And so by saying that, by being able to actually go in here and just do all the subs to your formations, man, that is going to be amazing. Because if I have a speedy back, obviously, if I'm going to run stretch out of certain plays or I'm doing like certain RPOs or whatever, and I want my speed back to be in there, instead of me always subbing them out within the middle of the game, I could just go ahead, set that up to that's going to be his package, and I already know that belongs to him. Man, talk about dope. I like that myself personally. I ain't going to lie. And I know a lot of y'all do. Don't act like that. You know you like it. They also got this thing called protect the opponent, right? And what that is so when you're dealing with your conference, and you know you got your end games, certain teams that are your rivals, that have just been your rivals and you always play them every year, when you're doing all these conference alignments and changes and everybody going in and going out, you can protect those rivalries to stay there. So just like Michigan's would be Ohio Stinks and it would be Michigan State, you see what I'm saying? So we would make sure that those two wouldn't go anywhere because we always want to play them no matter what year we in. We always going to play that. You know what I'm saying? So they added that to the game where now you can have those two games. There's going to be two games out of your conference that are protected, that you know for a fact you're always going to play those two no matter what. Now, I think that was dope because that keeps the rivalry, because in 25, I know for a fact I was supposed to play Michigan State every single year, and I wasn't. I got everybody but Michigan State, and it was very confusing. I only got them one time, and I was like, man, what is going on? So if I didn't see them in the conference championship, they were just non-existent. So because of the protect the opponent, now I know for a fact the rivalry will stay where it needs to be, and I like that. Now we got a quick little thing to talk about with the college football playoffs, because you know they did change it in real life this year, you know what I'm saying? And you know the college devs had their ear to the ground, you know what I'm saying? They squared us up. So they also changed it in the game. So now it's the way it's supposed to be with the 4 top teams, the CFP ranking will get the first buys, and the 8 teams will filter in behind them, which I feel will be a lot more intriguing as far as matchups compared to what we had before. I ain't saying nothing wrong, but somebody had an easy path. I don't know who it is. I could be hating, but I doubt it because we beat them. But either way, I'm just saying somebody had an easy path. And so now with this being done the right way or the correct way, it should make it a lot more interesting when we get these matchups, which I think is good, at least for the sport. And as far as quality of life, they added a lot of things for us to navigate to. That's going to be a lot easier because, man, we got a lot to do as coaches, man. We got a lot to look out for as far as recruiting. You heard all these things we still got to do. They limited some windows and combined others, but it's still a lot of work that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good look for us. And the one thing that we were dying for last year that we didn't have, that we finally got now, thanks to EA, they listened. Now we got crossplay. So now you can play with your homies no matter if they on Xbox, PS5, whatever they own. Now we can all get in the Dynasty together and rock out and talk trash like we always do and see who's the best player. You know what I'm saying? But now hold up. Let me sprinkle something on you. Hold up. If you, and I do mean you, pre-ordered the game, then in your Dynasty, as a coach, you're going to get 100 points, 100 coaching points every single time you start a new Dynasty. So period, point blank, no matter what, you get into this Dynasty, you're going to get 100 points. Your homeboy starting one, you get up in that, you get 100 points. And you only get this if you pre-order the game. This is not for everybody. So, you know, I pre-ordered it, so I feel pretty good about myself. So I'm gonna use them 100 points very wisely, because you see, like I see, we definitely gonna need it with all this junk that's going on. We got a lot of work to do. So if you don't know that, hey man, I advise you to pre-order it. You still got time. We got like what, 2 weeks before the game drop. Go ahead and get it in, get it real quick so you can get them 100 points if you're a Dynasty player, which you should be because you watching this video, man. So don't say Unc ain't tell you to get them 100 points, man, because they free as long as you pre-order. And there you have it, man. Pure point blank. I done laid it all on the line. I done knocked it out. If you made it this far, man, I appreciate you, man. Give yourselves a round of applause because it was a lot of information. And I would advise you to go back, hit it again if you know what I'm saying, or go to certain points. I will have the time markers down below so that we can go through certain things. You can catch it in real time if you need a quick refresher. So I'm gonna put them in the video. But I also told you I was going to reveal to you the Dynasty League that I was in. And the Dynasty League that I'm in, and then I'm gonna bring the logo up as soon as I say this, it is called the Primetime Collegiate League, man. So the PSL, man, the PCL, I don't know why I said PSL, it's the PCL, man. Dope little league. We already got 32 users in here ready to go. We already picked our teams, you know what I'm saying, I got lucky, so I was able to go ahead and spin the wheel. I was the third pick, so I got to pick them boys that you see behind me, the great state of Michigan, you know what I'm saying? Well, either way, there's 32 users, and this is what you're gonna see me covering. You're gonna see the highs, the lows, the good and the bad and the ugly when it comes to me doing this Dynasty. So hopefully you can see me do some things that'll help you, or you can be like, hey man, you shouldn't have did that. You should probably try this and help me out. Either way, man, let's have a good time, man, because the Dynasty mode gonna be rocking, man. So I'm excited about it. And hey man, all them videos will be dropping as soon as we get to it, bro. I can also say we do got certain rules too. It ain't just willy-nilly pick your same play. We actually got rules to it to try to keep it as real as football as possible. So we do have play cool-offs. We do have you have to punt when in certain situations. Certain situations you don't, but in certain situations you do. You gotta punt it, like, you know what I'm saying. But and we also have a play count, so you can't keep calling the same play over and over again. Even though we got play cooldown, after a certain point of times, you use up enough of them, you got to call a different play because we want you to use your whole playbook. We need variety. That's what makes this league dope. And so it's a lot of brothers in here, man. So at the end of the day, I hope y'all rock out with me to check it out. But it's a dope league. And we just gonna have a little fun like we always do. So let me know in the comments below, man, what do you think? What are you looking forward to? Do you think all these changes are good? Do you not like them? Are there some changes you wish you would have seen that they didn't do? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because they can't please everybody. It's impossible. Humans just ain't happy. We know that. But either way, man, let me know in the comments below if there was something that you liked or you didn't like that you wish they would have did. Let's have a conversation about it, because you know me, I'm always willing to talk about it, man. And if you made it this far in the video, man, first I want to say thank you. And then next, you already know what I'm finna ask you to do. Smash the like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you have not, as it is only a thumb movement and it helps me out tremendously, and there is no me without you. Also, if you didn't know, I do live stream, and I will start back once college drops, and that'll be on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I will also be live streaming on Twitch my PCL league games, because they'll be random, so I'll be putting them on Twitch, but I will double back and put the videos up on YouTube too. So if you miss it on Twitch, you'll still be able to catch what's going on to help you out if I need it, or to get some pointers from the game, man. But either way, man, I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a blessed rest of y'all day. And like I always say, if ain't no one told you that they love you today, just know that Jesus loves you, man. Peace and love, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one.